Hello and welcome everybody to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Encounter Joshua, and for those of you watching on Twitch or watching on YouTube, this is the second part of our show. It's a two-part episode on What We Were, which is a Kickstarter that is currently being funded at the moment. You can check it out if you go to Kickstarter and type in What We Were. It's nice and easy. It's a very, very exciting new role-playing system that we're very happy to bring to you here today. But before we get to that, we're going to go around the cast and crew and introduce everybody, find out who we are playing with and who they are playing today. Let's start off with Misty. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. I am playing Elena, and she is a thief who has now joined Dax and Wart in attempting to resolve why the owner of the mansion is mysteriously angry and whatnot. You can find me over at mcharm021 on Twitter and forevercharmed21 on Twitch.
Indeedy Mundos. Speaking of people that you've got yourself mixed up with, gaming.exp, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm Zippy. I'm Zippy Zippo, and I play Dax. I'm playing a supernatural investigator, and super excited.
And no one is more super excited or supernatural than the super aware, knows whatever is going on around him, Rafe. Who are you playing today?
Hi, I'm Wraith, Godfather Wraith on Twitch. I'm playing Wart. He is a blind troll who's, well, got a very sharp nose, apparently.
Indeed, very, very sharp indeed. And hopefully that'll help you guys, as shenanigans occurred last episode, and, well, nothing bad could possibly come of it. But speaking of great things to come, let me tell you about today's sponsors before we get any further. We are, of course, sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, who are our virtual tabletop of choice. All the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are all using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get your miniatures through Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get a huge range of D&D, Warhammer, 40k, and all kinds of other crazy minis for all of your tabletop games, for up to 20% off. And this week's sponsor, check out Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. When we hit 20 retweets, which I imagine is the tweet link that has just come up in chat, we give away a set of dice to you guys in chat, ! Tweet to check that out. You can also support the show by retweeting that link. And finally, I'll remind you how you can interact with today's game. You can donate to affect the game by giving players Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges, and this month's special and terrifying, just genuinely sets my teeth on edge, the Table of Pets, which I haven't had a whole chance to look at, so it's going to be a wild ride for any donations to come through there, for me, for you, for the players, for chat, for everyone. It's going to be wonderful. Also, if there is a moment that you love, please clip it. On Twitch, we'll be using these highlight reels on Twitter, but without further ado, let us go into a quick recap as to what exactly happened in the first episode of What We Were. We began in a small little town where people live in harmony on the outskirts of the capital of this kingdom that we're in. They're a few days out, and a lot of people have been coming here over the last little while because they're interested in going to a festival that's occurring. It's a big hoo-ha shindig sort of fan dance thing that's going up in the capital. It's a big exciting kind of time for people from all over the kingdom to meet, to go and to enjoy each other's company, and it draws a lot of travelers. And some of those travelers have been staying off in this little town that we find ourselves in. But the people coming into the tavern are not always the most... Well, they're not always your usual suspects. We have some unusual characters that have been coming in. Wart, I believe, was on his way towards the capital to have a look around and to meet some people, and has been caught up with Dax, a local supernatural investigator who was here to investigate the supernatural. He'd come in after he found the same pamphlets posted all over town and all over the woods that Elena has, and both of them have been told that a load of weird supernatural things have been going on. And quickly, you've got to the bottom of it to find out that the local
Apothecary?
alchemist. There we go. That's it. The local alchemist is a disturbed elderly lady who's been posting that all sorts of strange things have been going on, sort of snarks and blumpkins and other strange, possibly made up creatures have been terrorizing her. And it seemed like a non-starter, like you'd been brought here as part of an old woman's delusions. But very quickly, you found out that a local order, or maybe not necessarily just local, but an order of witch hunters had been seen in town, specifically one Mr. Cross, who has arrived on official business. Now, Dax's organization are much more calm, friendly, and I guess
Rational.
ethical? Yeah, rational, maybe, that's the right word. They're much more delicate when they and so they very much go for the soft touch, I guess. I don't know, Dax. How would you describe the differences between your order and the witch hunters? Like, what would you say was the main difference?
So who here has seen Supernatural?
Vaguely, bits.
The difference is between the men of letters, who are scholars, and hunters, who are hunters.
So you're more of the scholarly approach. You see, like,
Yeah.
I believe your tactic has been relocating magical creatures that have got out of hand and that sort of thing. Whereas witch hunters are very much in the of the mentality that if it's there, if it's causing problems, we kill it or we drive it away with fire and flame. So there's a different mythology in how you conduct your businesses, but you found out that this witch hunter was here and quickly got to the bottom of it, that this individual had been refused an audience with the mayor, or the town's lord, one Lord Mulgrave, and had an official summons from him. Apparently has worked with him in the past, or the Order has, and when he arrived to investigate the troubles in the local mine, he was told that no one had any recollection of sending for a witch hunter. So now he sits and is incredibly frustrated with the lack of progress and doesn't really know what to do. And you guys went and you stole, I believe Elena managed to steal his official contract from him, from Mr. Cross, and then you summoned a leprechaun, which was an experience, and there was a fire, and you're worried that the town might burn down because you let a very aggressive... I genuinely can't remember what you named him, Dax.
Oh, it's a spell. It's called Brody's Bodacious Brute.
No. The leprechaun that you summoned. You summoned
you
a
gave him-
leprechaun.
Oh, shit, I did.
He pissed on a contract. Then flames and fire, and then you ran off, and then you made your way, and he's at the local bar causing all manners of hell, and that's a thing. But you went up
Yeah,
to the
that is
manor
the
to
thing.
investigate. You went up to the manor to investigate, and while you were there, you found out that the Mr. Mulgrave, or Lord Mulgrave, has no recollection of his past, has lost his memory, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know who his family is, has dismissed almost all of his staff, and is refusing to speak or talk to anyone, and because of this, his wife has basically come up with the idea that it would probably be best that the witch hunter does not perform the investigation into this, as they're quite a violent peoples, and she's terrified that they will exercise him in some grievous way, brand his skin or something, and she very much loves her husband. So she's asked for the softer approach of Dax and co to investigate, which translated to Dax kicking in his door whilst Elena robbed these people, and Wart actually has done nothing wrong so far.
Yeah.
And you've all just tried to interrogate and press silver against this old man's head and all that sort of stuff. And in all the commotion, the guards have arrived, and you are all being arrested. That's where we left off last time. So that's going to be, yeah. It was an eventful beginning to this investigation. You've alienated some people, you've angered some people, you've found yourself being dragged in by the guard captain, one Mr. Graves, and he drags all of you down to a cell, essentially. You are forcefully, by several guards, manhandled out of the estate, put into the back of a cart with a cage on the back, and transported through town. And when you arrive at the guardhouse, you are frog marched into this very cramped underground cell with a small square of light that shines down from the late afternoon sun, and the floor is just mud that has been churned up. The walls are a mixture of clay and stone that's been worked in. It is a pit that you are chucked in, with a very narrow set of stone steps that lead up to a single door which is heavily bolted. And you guys are unceremoniously thrown down into here, not shackled to the walls. It smells mostly of mud, as opposed to excrement or anything really fear-inducing. You can't smell sweat or anything like that. It just smells like you're in a hole in the ground. And you were chucked down here and left to stew. And that is where we'll be picking up today. So, guys, this is where you've ended up for your troubles. How you feeling?
Pretty nice, I guess.
I mean,
All
Wart's-
things considered.
Yeah, Wirt was expecting a worse dungeon, so he's not in bad spirits.
Lena's
There's
annoyed
not
and she's
much.
looking
Go ahead.
for a way to pick the lock.
Okay, you make your way up to the door. Give me a. Do you have anything? Any awareness or investigation skills that would be helpful for this particular situation?
Pick lock.
Okay,
That's-
I'll allow you to attempt a quick lock picking. I presume you have the correct tools, everything you'd need.
Yep. 4 and a 1. Pass and a fail.
Pass and a fail. Okay, you get up to the lock and take a moment to start trying to give it a few moments for people to move away, and you begin to work in the pry bar, and then you start gently trying to tickle the tumblers into the right position. It takes you a few moments, and after a few moments you hear a slight click, and you get the next one along, and there's another satisfying click, and then with a gentle twist you feel the lock start to go, and then it slips for a second. You hold it and it's very tense, and then all the way around and you hear the bolt click
Yes.
and roll out of the way.
Anyone ready to go?
I
I got
suppose yes.
awesome. Now I gotta get
They
Dax because
released
he's
us?
Mr. No, they didn't release us. I use some talents that I have obtained over the years to ensure our escape. And since Dax is Mr. Official, I'm not sure that Dax should be detained since Dax didn't do anything. But, you know, we kind of need him to sneak his way out first, unless you want to sneak your way out first. But
Yes, I suppose they may not be hostile towards a blind troll, but yes, we can.
or if we get out, then we'll be good with that. Gotta kind of get ourselves up there. So, all right.
Yeah.
But
All right.
Come on.
I
I'll help you
suppose-
if you would like.
Well, I suppose you can lead the right way, and I'll grab Dax, and we can catch up.
Okay. So, is the door pushable or is it like a clickable door?
It appears to be a door that swings outwards, and
So,
You-
Elena gently, carefully pushes it a little bit to look to see what she can see from the little corner.
it clunks steadfastly into a large bar, which is put across the door to ensure that no one picks their way out.
I guess we're not getting out after all. But I did pick
Oh.
the lock.
You hear a chuckle from the other side of the door, and a guard calls down and says, "Told you they'd try it."
I will walk up to the door. Excuse me, is anyone out there?
Keep down in there. And you hear a bang as a fist slams into the door.
Oh, I was unaware that my volume was at an unacceptable level. But is this better?
Yeah, there's no
Excuse me,
response.
sir. Excuse me, sir.
I said keep it down in there.
What are you gonna do? Come in here and teach me a lesson? That sounds like
No.
that will shut me up.
Well, I could do that. Or, I could just forget to feed you all.
Forgetting to feed an official member of the, not Witch Hunters community, the other one, would probably be a crime and you might have to answer to a higher power.
Well, Mirewood, you hear anything about us arresting any officials recently? There's a pause, and then from down the corridor you hear, "No. From what I understand, we don't have any prisoners." "Yeah, that's what I thought." It turns out we don't have any prisoners, so,
If you don't have any prisoners, that means that we're surely allowed to go. This has all been a big mistake.
sure.
Okay, just open the door.
No need to open the door, there's no one to let out.
But we're in here. Therefore, you have put us in here unlawfully.
Since there's no one in the cell, there's really no point in me having this conversation with, well, nobody.
I mean, you're the one who's talking to himself. I say, listen to the voices in your head. Open wide the doors of freedom and let me saunter out. Please?
There's
So
no
Elena's-
response.
Elena's gonna go through the bag because they threw them in there, and she has this little collection of basic tools, so she can pull out a crowbar.
Okay.
I place a hand. This will freak them out just fine, Elena. And I'm going to attempt to summon Brody's Bodacious Brute.
Okay. Well, I will state that this is not a very big cell, and he is very bodacious. So
He is very
it could
bodacious.
it could get cramped in here. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be that guy. But
Why don't you summon
it
him?
could get a little.
Through the little thing in the door, and hopefully he
gonna-
goes out the door.
If you want to try that, the difficulty is going to jump up quite a bit. There is a
I'm gonna-
keyhole, so you could try.
So, give me like dimensions of this cell.
Probably about 10 foot by 10 foot.
Oh, he's not that
And
bodacious.
probably about 10 foot up. Yeah, but there is a troll in there with you. And there's at least 5 foot square of that is taken up by a set of steps that go up towards the door.
I feel like he would be like it. He would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger size, like when he was in his prime.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger size, but when you summon him, he just spends the entire time just flexing. Like, unless you're giving him something to do, unless you instruct him, he's just like strongman poses all the time.
All right, so my
Taking up
summoning
as much-
magic is 3, and my intelligence is 3.
Let's see it. I believe
6,
in you.
a 5, a 5, a 3, a 2, and a 2. So it's like a 50-50 split.
Okay, 6, 5, 5. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. There's a how does your summoning look? What does it take? What form does it take?
Well, it looks like 1/5 of the Ginyu Force poses, where like Dax strikes a pose, and then all of a sudden Brody's Bodacious Brute appears and strikes a pose, and then we ended up giving each other a nice crisp high five before Dax looks at the door and says, "I could use a key."
It's not a high five. It's that handshake. He looks at you and he's just like, Dax, you son of a bitch. And it's like the most intense. It's
Yes.
so intense. In fact, it's so intense it causes a fluctuation of wild magic surges. Thank you so much for that wonderful donation, Winfor. Let me bring up the wild magic surge table now. So it's gonna be. You, Elena and Wart, you experienced this like. It's intense, and then very quickly he heads over to the door. And what are you intending him to do? Because he's pretty ripped.
Let's see. I think Bodacious Brute. Man, I thought I wrote it down. He has a strength of 4 because I think I got a success, so I can allocate stuff. So I'm going to give him a strength of 4, and I'm just going to tell him to punch through the door.
Fantastic. As he's doing this, I'm going to roll for it. I'm going to see. It's either going to be you, it's going to be Bodhi, or it's going to be a wild magic surge to the guard on the other side of this door who's just trying to do his damn job. Like, I haven't decided. So I'm going to roll a d6, and I'm going to say if it's a 1 or a 2, it's Zippy. 3 or 4, it's Bodhi's Bodacious Brute, and a 5 or a 6, it's this poor bastard guard. It's the most bodacious. I'm so happy. This is all I wanted. Okay, hold on. 1d 6,399. So I'll get to that in just a moment, but I'll allow you to roll for your brute to see if he can batter his way through this door. You know that the lock has been taken off, but there is a bar on the other side to stop people from just slipping out.
I had lost where Bodacious Brute, because he gets. All right, so hold on. Let me. The Brodacious.
I don't like that.
The Brodacious of brutes. Let's see. Magic. Damn. Okay. I wish there was just like a cheat sheet.
Okay.
Hold on.
This is.
I have to look for it. I think okay. So let's see. This summons a magical being to fight for you. Extra success can be used to boost the core stats. So extra successes. So he's already at 4. Weapon X equals to the caster's summoning level. So I'm level. What level are we? Because I guess I never knew that.
Let me quickly check. I think you're level 3, I believe.
Okay, so if I'm level 3 and he's using his weapon, which is fist, his weapon skill is 3 and his strength is 4, so I'm rolling 7 dice.
Oh, that's only a few.
Holy shit.
3 5s, 2 2s, 1 1, and a 4.
Okay. This is... Your summoning level is whatever your summoning skill you have.
Oh,
So
then
it'd
that's
be your-
3. So
yeah.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah, I was going to say... So, this is going to be intense.
I'm still
you
on
make
Final Fantasy thing. I'm thinking I'm a summoner, so sorry.
He makes his way up to the top of the stairs, and he looks at it, and he just sort of just seems to check the door for a moment, and then he full on just flexes for a second, looks at the door, and is just like, "You're in my way." And then just starts randomly smashing his fists into different parts of the door, and you see parts of the corner of the door just crack in places, and then he starts slamming his knee into it, headbutting it, grabbing manages to grab a crack, puts his through it, and then use that to start headbutting into the door. Finally, just pulls back and throws his whole weight, and the door crashes and tips forward, and he slams into the opposite wall, cracking the door in half as he crumples down on top of it, and then stands up, and there's a moment, it's almost Shawshank Redemption, except he's not being rained on and he's not covered in mud, but he's on his knees yes! He's just so happy that he's managed to serve you in this particular situation, ripping just splinters of the door, and from the other side, you hear full-on commotion from the guards. You guys have battered your way out of the cell. You're standing in the guardhouse. It's not a big building. You'd probably wager no more than 5 rooms. It's a small guardhouse. It's a small town. What do you guys do?
I
What's it built out of?
immediately walk out of the cell and I look at the guard and I say, "It's not a jailbreak because there were no prisoners in that cell." And he taps his head.
So, Elena, the cell is made out of, or the guardhouse is mostly made out of wood, some stone,
Sweet.
mostly around the bottom parts of it, wood on the top parts of it, and then a lot of, down there it was dirt floors, but in here it will be wooden flooring.
Flint,
You,
tinder, torch, burn.
You're going to try and burn the guardhouse down. Okay. That's what Elena is planning to do. What's Wart doing?
Oh boy. Wart's going to step up beside Dax and just calmly look at him and say, "We'll be taking our leave now."
Tender.
As you do that, you see that several guards will come round the corner, in various states of confusion, mostly armed with round shields and spears, and they come round. They are not. It's not shield wall levels of coordination. They're very much not trained soldiers. They are local town guards, and they come clattering around the corner in sort of confusion, not really sure what's going on. And the guard that you were talking to is standing sort of a few steps back, or he's probably actually on his ass, just scooching back away from your brute, who stands up and, thanks to a wild magic surge, looks to you and says, "I cannot stay. I have to throw myself into a volcano," and runs down the corridor at these men. As
I grab his
Oh, no.
arm bro-like, and I say, "You go throw yourself into the volcano, and you don't do so most bodaciously."
He claps hands with you as Wild Magic Surge. Target thinks it's his destiny to leap into a volcano, and he doesn't even know where. Like, he's not even sure. You've just summoned him. He doesn't even know where he is. But by gosh, he's off to find himself a volcano. So he just nods to you and runs down the corridor. And the guard on the floor grabs his spear and watches him go by, but doesn't lunge out to jab him. And the men sort of see him coming, and he wasn't technically arrested. No one's seen him before. No one knows. And he's all he's wearing is a Mr. Universe posing pouch and just slathered in oil. So he's just rushing down the corridor, and people are like, what do we do? What do we do? Get out the fucking way! And move out to one side. And he rushes off, leaving sort of oily footprints in his wake. There you go. That's his exit.
I look to the guards who are bewildered, and I point to the cell. Now, technically, we weren't here. We weren't arrested. So you can either try to arrest us for escaping a cell that we weren't supposed to be in, or you could go stop that fire that just started in the cell before you all die.
And I lock you in as we leave.
No, we don't lock them in.
Oh, no, we do. Because they kept us,
No,
so now
no,
we'll
no.
keep them.
No.
As you're saying all of
There's
this,
no
and you're
door.
having your dialogue between the two of you, the crowd of guards who are, there's only maybe 5 of them who are sort of crammed in this corridor, are shoved out of the way, and a dwarf with an axe on his hip comes in. You recognize this man. This is the guard captain. He has a large insignia on a single pauldron of armor, and he comes in sort of what in the fuck is going on in here? Looks down the corridor and, what are they doing out of their cells?
It's on fire. They have to save us.
Yeah, they were very valiant. In fact, apparently, according to them, we weren't arrested. We weren't even being held.
We were just stranded.
He looks around like somebody explained this to me before I punch someone, and the guards are just confused. The guard who actually was giving you crap, who is currently on the floor and confused, doesn't comment or offer any explanation as to how his bit of banter has got massively out of hand. And the guard captain draws his axe off his hip and starts walking towards you. He's a sturdy looking fella. He looks like he's got a few scars. He looks much more intimidating than the rest of his guard platoon, who are actually keeping behind him and don't sort of advance with him. But he walks towards you and says, "You telling me you're breaking yourselves out of jail, is that it?"
Nope, because according to your guard here, we weren't even supposed to be arrested.
Yeah.
And there's a fire down
But-
there, and the whole place is going to burn down unless you get help.
There's oil all over this walkway. Oil is very flammable.
He looks down and raises his boot, and there's a patch of oil that he's left a boot print in, and he says, "You telling me you're trying to burn the guardhouse down?
No,
Who said that?
no one
No.
You
said
started a
anything.
fire in your jail cell.
You have no
We
proof, and
What
we
the
couldn't
fuck
have.
did you do to that door?" He looks specifically at Wart, suddenly taking in the damage, and he's just like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
They had to knock the door down because we were going to die. They saved our lives. They're heroes.
I mean, we weren't even in that cell, according. And he points.
"You
to
were in the other cell, were you?"
No, apparently, when I asked
According
your
to your
gentleman here,
guard.
you're according to
The
your
guy-
guard. We were.
He pulls a pair of manacles off his hip, starts walking towards you, Dax. "You're not gonna give me any trouble over this, are you?"
Of
Can I get in front of
You-
Dax to protect him.
I place a hand on her. Me give you trouble? No. But that dragon behind you might. And then he's going to attempt to summon a little baby dragon, still enough to like be a trouble.
A little baby dragon. Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
baby? Are we talking like salamander, like bearded dragon? Or are we talking like...
Like Komodo dragon size, like enough to at least give him a
Oh,
scare.
okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Like a young one. Like I say like just before it becomes a young dragon, but not like a hatchling.
How old? I need an exact year. How many
Gosh,
years old?
I don't. What's the
Like,
conversion between?
Still in school? Still in school?
Like a toddler, like a
dragon?
toddler
Toddler.
dragon.
Toddler dragon. Okay. Toddler Komodo dragon. I presume illusory, or are you actually summoning a dragon?
I'm summoning a magic creature.
You're summoning a magic
Oh.
creature. Okay. All right.
I've made a pact with it. It's like it's a nice.
No,
Let's
that's
see
fine.
what-
That's fine. Nothing bad could come of this.
2 5s,
Yeah.
a 4, a 2, a 3, and a 1.
Okay. Okay. How much experience does Dax have with dragons? Just out of curiosity. They're pretty uncommon. In this region, like if you traveled from far, that would be understandable.
He did his dissertation on dragons. He is quite fond of the aquatic serpentine leviathan class dragons.
Okay.
Um,
Zippy, I will tell you, like you can do your dissertation on dragons. That's fine. I have friends who study paleontology. That doesn't mean they've met a dinosaur. Have you ever met a dragon before? That's
course.
where I'm going with this.
I had to come into this pact somehow.
Okay, so you know this dragon. What's this
Yeah.
dragon's name? Name that dragon.
Humans cannot pronounce his name, so his name is Drake.
Well, I'm a human, so I
Oh,
can't
God.
say the name. Whatever. Okay.
Well, no. His real name is. We don't have the.
He's
tongue
the
state.
artist formerly known as Drake. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Drake the dragon makes an appearance, summoned into existence. I was wanting some
I
bad
call him
rolls.
on
So,
my cell phone.
okay, you lose your 4 just for singing, so that's now 2 5s you're at. So you summon this dragon, and what kind of dragon is this? Is it like a fire-breathing dragon? Is it
Yeah, he's a red
winged
dragon. He's a
He's
winged,
a red-scaled.
Yeah, he's a winged red dragon who is the size of a Komodo dragon.
Okay. So, the dragon appears. First things first, make me... let's see. Does Wart or Elena have any skills in particular with regards to, in fact, I'm gonna say no. There's no I'm gonna need just some wisdom rolls for the two of you, just to see how you cope with a huge fucking Komodo dragon with red scales and very, very small wings. Like probably not fully developed enough to help him fly yet. Summoning into this prison cell. So Wart, that's a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, Wirt's just like, what the heck did I just smell? What am I
Wart-
hearing? What am I smelling? What's
Something-
going on?
You smell ozone, and then you smell something, and some part of your brain just tells you predator of some kind, problem, bad. This is not
Right.
okay. Elena, give me just a wisdom roll.
Wisdom. Oh wow. 1.
Elena, it's a fucking dragon. Like, maybe, like, you're not really sure how? Perhaps attracted by the fire you started? But you need to leave right now. There's a fucking dragon in here. And the guard captain, no, that's too many. Oh god, no. Way too many dice.
Can I acrobatics myself out of there?
The guard captain isn't gonna fall for that, Dax. He's not gonna fall for the old "it's behind you" gag. He shakes his head and chuckles to himself and is like, "You really think I'd fall for that?"
Elena's just gonna put her dagger. She's
No, I actually, as he gets manacled with one arm. No, I would never question someone's intelligence, but he takes his hand, places it on the dwarf, and he turns the dwarf's head to look behind him.
He grabs you for a second, like he's going to slam the head of the axe into the side of your head, and then from behind you, from behind him, you all hear, Dax.
Hey,
And
Drake.
there's a pause, and the dragon unfurls its wings and can just about stretch them half cocked into this space, and you hear like the sound of claws scratching wood and like tearing up a piece of the floorboard, and whimpers just from behind him as there are 5 guards who didn't follow their captain and are now, there's a dragon between them and captain, absolutely bricking it. And the dragon takes a heavy step forward, and it's heavy enough that you all feel a slight boom, Jurassic Park style through the floorboards as it makes its way forward. Dax, you'd know he probably weighs nearly a ton. He's just muscle. And he sort of like makes his way very slowly forward, padding towards the dwarf, who slowly turns his head to look and realizes there's a dragon. Elena, if you want to try and acrobatics yourself out of here, if you want a GTFO, roll me an acrobatics with your dex.
All right, acrobatics with dex. Hang on, acrobatics with dex. So that's 3, 2, 2. So 6, 7. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's do this.
There's 5. And
That is 3 6s. God damn.
and 2. There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
that's 3 6s and a 4. Tell me how you parkour your way past Dax, Wart, the guard, down the corridor. You don't know where you're heading, but you are out of this corridor.
Yep. I hit that stupid dwarf on my way out with the knife to try and get him away from Dax because I don't want him to hurt Dax. But I just bolt, I duck, I roll, and I get to the nearest door because I know that there is actually a fire down there that I set, and it is going to eventually creep up here. So
Okay,
I'm
give me
getting-
a. I'll allow you to make a single attack against the guard captain. I need to
Okay.
roll for him plus his armor.
Yeah, mine was just to hit him to not hurt Dax.
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
Oh, yeah, I totally miss him.
I believe you should be rolling plus your dex.
Oh,
It should
okay.
be like weapon, whatever your weapon skill is, plus your stats. So
Oh.
dex, I would presume for you.
So Dex plus. Okay, so never mind. 3. All right. 1, 2, 3. 5, 5, 1.
Okay, let's see. So he is gonna make a. Okay, so you make a single attack against him. don't succeed in landing the blow. You probably catch him just in, like, he gets his arm up slightly to block the blade, sort of like a pommel strike to the side of his head, just to like disorientate him, I presume. And he managed to get it up, and there's a boomf, and you manage to slip away. Dax, she doesn't buy you any advantage or anything like that, but you are out of there, running down the corridor, get to the edge and sort of like 1 foot up against the wall to kick off and keep going. Wart, Dax has done something. You now hear a terrifying voice and smell what smells distinctly like rotting meat on a hot, fetid breath. Coming from just a little bit further down the corridor. You hear Elena scuffle slightly and then bolt down the corridor. Dax you hear the distinct sound of a manacle being fastened, and the guard captain is beside you. What do you do?
I take the other end of the manacle, and I...
No,
I want to see what
Mom.
Wart does, but yeah.
me. The guard captain is beside me.
Yes.
Gonna flip him over me away from Dax.
You're gonna try and like hip throw him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
roll
sure
me...
how.
Okay, for this, I'm gonna say, do you have any training, any like proficiencies with like hand-to-hand grappling, anything
Unarmed.
like that? Yeah.
I have a weapon unarmed.
Okay,
and-
fantastic. The guard
and
captain does
strength.
not. He will just be rolling straight strength, so it's his strength versus your combined roll of unarmed and
Oh.
strength. Oh, damn.
Oh, nope. I try and fail.
Okay, as this happens, you go to grab him, and you feel him grab your wrist, twist, surprisingly strong, and then you feel something pinch against your skin. It doesn't cut deep, but it almost feels like you're stabbed for a second in the wrist, and then you realize that the grip of his hand is slightly loose, and then you realize it's also incredibly resilient. And it takes you a second to, as you try to pull away, you hear the clinking of chains, and Dax, your arm is pulled alongside Wart as you have just been manacled together by the guard captain, who is now, for Dax's sake, standing between you two and the dragon, because technically it's kind of his job to protect people against shit like this. So you are prisoners, and he is going to try and defend you against the fucking dragon.
Can I make my way over to get behind this guy with a blade and basically be like, you are going to let my friends go now?
Hi, baby. Okay, kitty.
I will tell you, as you came around the corner, you would see that there are several doors down this corridor, and you don't know what's in them, but you'd imagine sort of maybe like a bunk room or a guard office or something like that. But at the end, you see a door that has almost like a halo of light around it, suggesting that on the other side there is daylight. You think you found a way out. It's up to you.
All right.
You can turn back
I'm
and
going-
head back.
No, I'm going out to the light. Forget
Okay,
that.
you rush down the corridor. The guards have been called to the other part of they're currently dealing with something, so everyone's been pulled. You make it down, throw open the door into the street, and you are confronted by a guard who was on patrol, who is making his way towards you, and a familiar face in a large, tall hat with a sword across his back and a long black coat. You see Mr. Cross making his way over towards you. And
I'm
they
gonna
both
control-
pause for a second, seeing you, like, running out.
There's a dragon. There's a dragon. There is a fire-breathing dragon, and and it's on fire, and we're all gonna die. Yeah, and she's just gonna try and keep running.
Roll me a... Do you have charm?
I have acrobat. I have deception.
Not applicable. Because
Nice.
unfortunately, There is
You're not
actually
lying.
nothing you said is a lie. You can roll me a straight charisma if you want.
Straight charisma. Oh, I got
As unlikely as it sounds, nothing you said was a lie.
This is also true. 6 and a 1.
Okay, alright, I'm just gonna roll a straight wisdom for, Mr. Cross looks at you for a moment. The guard immediately doesn't know that you've been arrested, rushes past you, like weapon ready, and for a moment it looks like he might rush you, but then he passes you. Mr. Cross reaches up and draws a very long, slightly at the hilt serrated longsword, and looks at you for a moment, curses to himself, and fucking amateurs, get out of my way. And he will start moving towards, like, pushing past you, going in blade ready to deal with a dragon. And you are hot and free. What do you do?
Me? I am going to go around this place and see if there's any possible door, object, anything to get my friends out of there.
There is a back door. There are several windows that have sturdy metal bars covering them, and you find a small hole about it. It starts at ground level and it goes up about a foot, and that is there is smoke coming out of it. You have found the round the back, the single window that leads down to the prison cell, and that's as far as you're gonna get before we go back and find out. Dax and Wart, you guys have been handcuffed together, and Drake is now squaring up to Captain Graves, who is backpedaling into you and sort of like pressed firmly against you guys, but is holding his axe in two hands, and calls over to the guards under his command and says, "What in the bloody hell are you all doing? Kill it!" And he's going to make an attempt to try and swing at Drake. Holy shit! That's a 6, a 5, a 5, and a 4. Steps forward, lifts up his axe in two hands, feeds it over his head, and brings it down. Drake pulls back just in time, but the tip of his snout takes the axe head straight through it, through one nostril, and you hear a crack as it comes through his lower jaw, and chipped teeth spit onto the ground, and you see what looks like a bubbling blood splashes onto the ground and begins to hiss and smoke as it touches the ground. That's what you guys see. The guards on the other side are taking a moment to react. What are you guys doing?
I whisper to Wart, "All right, do you trust me?"
Yes.
Okay. Dax is going to take Wart, and he's going to pull him along as he runs for Drake, jumps up on Drake, and pulls Wart and tells him to mount up. And we're going to ride Drake the Dragon out of this bish.
Oh boy.
Of course, what could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. You tell me, oh wondrous GM.
I'm going to need for you to roll me. Do you have any experience with riding mounts of any kind? Do you have any proficiency, any skill, anything at all that could help you mounting Drake, who, might I add, you have summoned into a guardhouse and he's immediately been axed to the face? So, might not be in the best of moods right now? Do you have anything to assist you?
Can I say the fact that I summoned him means that he's bound to my will?
No.
He's a dragon.
Not based on how big he is, how powerful he is, and what you rolled to summon him. He is not bound to your will. However, I will tell you that usually he's amenable to you, but he's just been axed in the face.
And the big troll is now on the back.
I'm gonna tell you right now that, like, you called your buddy and he immediately got punched in the face, and now you're trying to get him to piggyback you out of this place. It's gonna be. He's a sentient creature. He's a smart creature. Do you have anything to assist?
Let's see. Social charm. I'm going to go up to him and I say, I know that you're rather angry right now, but I'm going to get us out of here.
Are you talking to that monster that I smell?
Okay. I will allow you to roll me. I will allow you to roll me a straight charisma. You would have been able to add social charm until Wart called him a monster. Now it's just going to be a straight charisma check because your friend has pissed him off.
Oh. A 5, a 2, and a 1.
There's a growl from his throat, and you see like his almost like a, you know how like a frog's throat when they rib it kind of expands outwards, kind of like that. But you see it sort of like heats to a dull, glowing gold for a moment as the captain sort of lifts his axe again and then takes a few steps back, realizing that he might have caused himself a little bit of trouble just then. And Drake manages to growl to you,
I wouldn't be here if not for you.
And he's going to try and breathe flames at the poor guard captain.
Well, that is a distraction if I ever saw one. Come on, Wart! And I start pulling Wart.
Oh,
Okay, Wart's going to follow him. Oh.
Okay, that is... Well, that's 2 6s against 2 4s. Let me just check, but I believe that's gone very poorly for the guard captain. He is going to hurl himself to one side, and the only exit he has, the only cover that he has, is down into your cell. That's all he's got. He has no other way of avoiding this. He's going to get licked by this, but flames come shooting out towards him, and he's going to roll to the side and make his and just try and avoid the worst of it. He is going to take some licks for it. He's got a decent his body is not too bad, and for those of you, that's not just me flirting with him. Body is how we determine how sturdy, how strong someone is. So he can take a lick of damage before he's reduced to the first debilitating state, rolls his way out of the way, but he is going to take a bit of a scuffing rolling down a set of stone steps into a cell, which Alana has set on fire. So he gets out of the way, and I would like Wart and Dax to both roll me a strength to hold on. You have no saddle. See if you can grab hold of the creature and not be thrown off as it's going to suddenly launch itself forward.
That is a 1.
Wart got a 4 and a 6.
Okay, Wart, I'm going to allow you to make a choice here. You can try and make a secondary check. Dax is going to fall off. You can make a secondary check if you want to grab him, but he might take you with him, and you might be on foot running after a dragon as guards start to rush forward. Or you can leave him. It's up to you.
Well, he's going to take me with whether I succeed or whether I do this or not, because we're still chained together.
Oh God, yes. Okay, that's a fair point.
All right.
The two of you are thrown off the back of Drake as he surges forward with terrifying speed, like not what you're expecting from how low to the ground, or not what the guards are expecting from how low to the ground he is. He's very alligator-like, but he moves his way forward, and as he slides round the corner, his tail smashes into the wood paneling on the wall and splinters it. Like, you watch as like it cracks and you see specks of daylight coming in. You smell fresh air past this creature. You also can smell acid or some kind of something burning the ground nearby, as this creature's bile is actually burning a hole through the floorboards. And there are guards rushing up to you. You guys are both prone, have been thrown clear, but you can imagine that wherever Drake goes, you could probably run behind him and the path will be relatively clear.
Right.
Okay. You're gonna run. We're gonna chase after him.
Get up and follow.
Chase after that scaly boy.
So you get up, haul each other to your feet, and run together round the corner as guards chase, like letting out a battle cry, and a couple of them sort of like, "Get the captain!" rush down to sort of drag him out of the flaming cells, and all chaos is broken loose. They're going to come around the corner following you. As you come around the corner, Drake is weaving his way forward. He gets to the front door, smashes it open with his snout, and is immediately going to come face to face with Mr. Cross, who has been warned that there is a dragon by Elena, and is going to make some attacks immediately against poor old Drake. He's a pretty proficient sort of fella. He's not the oh god, no, that's like 30 dice. That's not what I intended at all. God damn. There we go. Yeah, he's a pretty proficient fella, and he's sort of used to this sort of thing, so that is 3 4s versus a, let's see, the defense of this dragon. That is a 6 and a 4. So he steps up and Drake snaps at him and pushes him back far enough that there is a gap, and you guys can now get out the front door and scarper if you want. But this is a trained witch hunter versus a... You'd know Dax, he's not... He's a dragon, he's tough, but he is only young. And whether or not he'll fare too well against this witch hunter, you're not sure. It's up to you what you two do. And it's kind of gonna have to be a joint decision as you've ended up manacled together.
Right.
Can Elena see them? I mean, she's heard all this ruckus. Can she run back around?
I would say yes. At this point, Elena can run back around. You see that everything burst out. You see the dragon squaring off against Mr. Cross. And as this happens, Mr. Cross is going to take a moment to step back, avoid a very nasty bite towards his leg. And as he does so, he manages to swipe and brings down his sword on the back of Drake's neck, drawing blood. It would have been a decapitating blow to a lesser creature, but he has a relatively thick hide. And he draws back, and Drake lets out a...
Okay.
Can we close... Wart, you want to clothesline him?
Okay.
So, Dax and
You
Wart...
clothesline him, I'll kill him.
No, we don't kill. We don't
He's
kill.
our problem.
Life is sacred.
Yeah. I like dragons, and he hurt a dragon, so I'm gonna kill him. So get him down, and then I can unshackle you two.
If you two wanna do this, there's no proficiency for this. There's no skill in this, but I will say that you can combine your strengths, both roll strength, and I'll take it as a collective roll against his defense.
Okay.
1 success.
That's 2 successes.
That's a 6 and a 5. It's not bad. He's much better at killing things than he is at avoiding being killed, but he's not completely incompetent. Let's see. No, that's again. God damn it. Just one. There we go.
Oh.
That is a 5 and a 6 to match you. He will take a step back, and as you guys come towards him to try and clothesline him, he takes a step back and swings in a vicious uppercut. And for a moment, like, you're like, I'm gonna say, Wart, you feel like a few of your like taloned nails get clipped, and he slices up, and both of you feel a ping as your manacles are cut just before you can clothesline him, and you both stagger past him on either side. And as that happens, he will take a second to sort of whirl, so he's sort of side facing you guys, but has the sword extended towards Drake. And at this point, you hear screams from the village as you have summoned a fucking dragon into a sleepy village.
And the place is on fire.
And it's not on fire yet. Like, that's not anyone's concern yet.
Set it on fire.
That's going to be a thing that's going to happen relatively soon.
All right.
Elena, you see that happen. I'll allow you to act next.
I want to like get myself over there and put a blade to this guy's throat and be like, enough's enough. So I have like on mine it would be I think 7. I would have acrobatics 3 plus 2 plus 2, so 7 days.
I'm gonna say this is gonna have to be an attack. This is gonna have to be against him. Yeah. So it'd be whatever your weapon skill is plus your dex against his defense.
Dex 2, weapon skill 2, so 4. Maybe if I can roll the dice at all.
Well, let's see it.
6, 5,
That is
6, 4.
Oh my god, okay. Against a 2, and a 1, you manage to vault over a whip from Drake's tail as he snarls backwards angrily. And you jump over, and Mr. Cross sort of sees you coming and makes an overhead swipe at you, and you sort of like drop down, power slide across the mud, and then jump up and hit him, jump both knees into his chest and sort of like cannonball into him while grabbing his armor, blade to his neck, and he staggers backwards, and you put him on his ass, as that is literally 4 successes against 3 failures. That's astounding. He goes down. Do you intend to injure him in this? Because you could fuck him up with this.
I'm just gonna take us to get him a good swipe. Not hard enough to like cut his jugular, but to prove my point.
You rake across his chest, drawing a hefty amount of blood, which drips off your blade, now still held close to him. He manages to get a hand up just in time to sort of like stop you from like, so he's basically holding in a crossbar. He manages to stop you from finishing him off, but his sword is like impractical for this close quarters, and he's tensed in front of you and wide-eyed, furious. What do you say to him?
You have a choice. You can save the men in there who are going to burn to death, or you can keep chasing that dragon. But if you kill that dragon, I will make another swipe at you, and this time I won't miss. And there are 3 of us and 1 of you, and your men are burning to death, and your city is going to hell. Your choice.
Do you have any skills in threats or intimidation or anything like that?
Deception, investigation, sleight of hand, stealth, survival, not anything really.
Okay, I'll allow you to roll a charisma, but I'll let you add a free extra d6 because you have just fucked this guy up.
Okay. So 3 of them. 5, 3, and 3.
Okay. He is going to... Okay, he listens and contemplates this for a moment. However, someone who is not contemplating, I need you to roll me your armor plus your dex, Elena, as Drake is not on board with this whole stopping violence and is absolutely going to try and set fire to this witch hunter.
Okay, so 3 and 3. If I can find it. There it is. So
Ian,
4.
thank you for the raid.
Oh, that sucks. 2, 1, 1, 1.
That is against a okay, what's your body score?
My body score is a 2.
Oh dear. Okay. There is a gout of flame. I need to roll for him as well. Because okay. This happens. Dax, you see this. Wart, you see this. It's a very tense moment. Mr. Cross is being held with a blade against his throat. He brings his sword up and she presses the blade into his throat. She goes to say something. She comes out with this sort of like threat at him. He looks like he might be contemplating it for a moment, and then a column of flame ignites both of them as Drake takes a breath and manages to simply snarl the word bastard and breathes this huge column of flame that licks up the ground and engulfs both of them, and they vanish for a moment, and he snaps his jaws shut, almost snarling and real like trying to, like, his head is at an awkward angle because his neck has been hurt pretty badly, but both Elena and Mr. Cross crumple on fire, not in any state to fight right now. That was a horrific. Yeah. They are both down and out at the second.
I'm gonna attempt to dismiss Drake. Send him back where I summoned him from.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's
Seems
see where you go.
So, yeah, I'll just do summoning plus intelligence to attempt to unsummon.
Yeah. Holy shit! 5, 6,
Wow.
5, 5, 4, 4.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I tell you what. I'll allow you to dismiss him, and also I will allow you to, as you do so, like, essentially summon the flames back towards it. It can't undo the damage that is already done. Like, Elena is completely KO, possibly fighting for her life at this instance, as is Mr. Cross. Like, that was a horrific attack, and some genuinely terrible defenses from the both of them. So, like, they are in all kinds of bad way. But as you summon a sort of a portal to banish Drake through, he snarls, looks at you, and looks like you see his throat begin to glow as he's angry, and then a portal appears behind him, and he digs his claw into the ground for a second, and then is dragged backwards, and sort of like almost like a black hole, it sucks the air with it, and the eldritch sort of flames get summoned back in, and it sort of curls it up and snuffs it out and leaves these two smoking, charred bodies. Skin sort of like horrifically burnt, clothing completely toasted, both of them unmoving on the ground, but you see that they are drawing breath. What? The smell is astounding.
Right. And Wart probably recognizes its burned flesh and just immediately starts going to tend to the wounds. So that would be medicine plus what? We can't hear you, Josh.
Yeah. If you've got medicine, 100%.
All right, medicine and wisdom, or intellect.
I'll allow wisdom.
Okay. Wow, I apparently really suck at medicine. A 2, a 1, and a 3.
Okay, a 2, a 1, and a 3. They are alive. You know that much. They are in a bad way, the pair of them. You get the feeling
Right.
Mr. Cross has fared slightly better than Elena because he's wearing a heavy leather fireproof trench coat, but he is still like, both of them have had like most of their hair burnt off. Mr. Cross's beard is sort of like completely, all his stubble is burnt. They are both sort of like have like almost that marbling effect of burnt skin. They are in a very bad way. You would know that they need proper medical assistance. They are going to need salves. They are going to need to be cared for. They are possibly on the brink of death.
What was a dragon even doing here? Those predators are dangerous.
I know. Normally, Drake is so kind, so nice. We discuss philosophy together. I guess he didn't like being axed to the face.
Does that... Still, we need to get them to the healers.
Okay. And we shall.
And
So-
Zoe's going to start... He'll probably move Cross, because he's stronger, can move him as gently and carefully as he
Cross weighs a significant amount. He's maybe sort of like 190, 200 pounds of pretty intimidating muscle that is well done. Like
can.
cooked, finger licking, falling off the bone, that kind of delightfulness.
So shouldn't carry him, should get a litter and move him that way. But
Okay. What's the plan between Dax and War? What like that? The guardhouse is still technically on fire. Guards are still running around inside. No one's come out yet. They're dealing with some shit, but yeah.
Dax is like, well, if you can carry Elena, we can drag. We could drag Cross. And he takes the chain of the manacle and wraps it around Cross's wrist and shows that if they both walk, they can just drag him through the city.
that could cause him incredible harm in his state.
He just infuriated a dragon. I feel like he's plenty harmed enough.
It may kill him.
This is
You
true.
hear the sounds of guards approaching, like starting to like head towards the exit to come out, probably to kill you or arrest you or something.
The guards will tend to him. Wirt grabs Elena and starts moving.
Dax tries to keep up with this giant troll.
Okay, you guys start rushing away. Are you heading? There's a couple of places you might head. You know there's the alchemist in town. You know there is an alchemist. You know there's the tavern, which is run by oh God. Nope, that's yep. Which is run by. No, where's my notes? Mrs. Becker. There is also the house which you guys came from, the Mulgrave house, but you were arrested there just a few hours ago. And there is... Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and there is also the house of the people that you know Mr. Cross is staying with. Those are about the only places you've been to so far.
Right. Which of those do you think... Do you know of a place, Dax, where they may not... They may think more about caring for Elena than summoning the guards?
The Rogues Guild.
Roll me... Okay, call high or low. Just call high or low. Okay. You do not know of any local Rogues Guild. It does not mean that it does not exist, but you do not know of any Rogues Guild. However, if you want to find a Rogues Guild, you can roll me just a straight wisdom to see if, unless you have anything about, unless you have, you're a learned individual, you have like some law specializations. I don't suppose any of them refer to any criminal activity.
Thievery, but it's only in disarming. No,
it's not going to do you much good here.
What about, do I know of any arcane trickster guilds? That would be Lore Arcane.
It's a very high DC, but I'll allow you to roll it just to see.
Yay! Hold on. I got too many. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What do we get?
3 successes.
Oh my Christ. Okay. Alright. You don't know of anyone local. You don't have any contacts local. However, something tickles in the back of your mind. You remember something in the tavern you stayed in. You remember an individual having a quiet conversation in the corner of the room. You've been there a short little while. You've been staying there for a few days, actually. In fact, you're the person who hasn't arrived today. You've been here for a few days, and you remember someone lurking around in the corner. And after losing a game of cards or something like that against a couple of locals, he made his way out, but before he did, he gave a signing gesture towards Mrs. Becker, and you recall it being almost sort of like a coded kind of gesture, and one of her staff members went over to the door, checked outside for this gentleman, and then nodded to him, and he left. Almost as if they were checking to see if there were people around. The kind of practice you might take if someone was trying to avoid the local guards or something like that. That's the best you've got.
I convey this information.
That's all you've got for finding that. She needs help soon.
We could leave her in the gutter and let the city take care of her.
She's more likely to die that way.
See, this is why I should have always studied in herbology. I just never saw any use for it.
My problem is I just don't understand the herbs of this area. I don't know what I can use. It's so different than my woods.
You guys hear the heavy footsteps of guards approaching up. Say you guys have got off the street, maybe into an alleyway or something. You see 2 guards with spears rushing towards the other end of town. it is likely they are going to be trying to lock down this town. There aren't technically... There are watchtowers, but there isn't much in the way of... there isn't really a wall. So it's possible you could slip out into the woods. But yeah, it's up to you guys. But they are on patrol and they're looking for you. You guys are going to have trouble on the streets.
We may have to chance it with the alchemist and hope they won't go to the guards.
Okay. Let's just take it back to the alchemist, and maybe, hopefully, they won't call the guards. He repeats as if it was his own idea.
Wart's absolutely not surprised.
Yeah, wonderful. That's okay. You begin to make your way over towards where you think the guards. Oh no, it was the lady of the house. No, it was Mrs. Becker. Sorry, getting everything confused in my head. The tavern lady did tell you the general direction. She was the one who's been posting like all manner of craziness around town. I would say, give me. Do you guys have any proficiency in sneak? Any skills at all?
No.
I have social charm. That's all that I have that will help with me talking with people. I am a recluse. I live
every
in a
time.
wizard's tower.
He's like, I need to bust this door open. I have social charm. I convinced the door to let me out.
Right.
Okay.
I know how to talk to people. I guess.
I'm gonna need straight decks from the pair of you.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Here's the one. And it's a crit.
I don't think crits exist in this game, unfortunately.
You guys start making your way in the direction of the alchemist. That's a 6 from. That's a 6 from Dax and a 2 from War. Okay. As you're making your way in that direction, you see what you're the one carrying, right? You're the one carrying Elena.
Yes. The big troll carrying someone is the one that gets noticed. Shocker.
Okay. Once again, I'm going to give you a high or low call. This one's for Rafe. High or low?
Hi.
Okay. On a 90, it is high.
Mm-hmm.
You come running down and see a guard at the end of this alleyway as you come around the corner, and like you're probably about one street over from where you need to be, but you come to the end of this alleyway, and just as maybe you're like 10 feet away, a guard like walks by, turns, sees you, and calls out, "Who goes there?" And he sort of like points his spear at you and sort of squints at you for a moment. You are caught sort of like halfway down the alleyway.
Help! She needs help. And
I nod as
I'm moving.
yes, and I jerk Warts. Come on, you! I found this troll here trying to hurt this lady. I'm taking him back to the alchemist so they can get help.
No!
Roll-
It wasn't me.
Roll me a deception check.
Social charm.
No, that's a
Just
deception
social
check.
deception.
Okay, I don't have deception here to go. 2 4s. I hope you like him.
He looks confused for a moment and says, "A troll? I just assumed you were helping this lady who was attacked by the dragon."
Help! We need to get her to the alchemist. Wart's not even relenting. He just
as you like come towards him, he sort of backs up, looking pretty afraid and confused. And says, "Just down the road. I need to report that. I'll let the guards know that you've taken someone to the alchemist. I hope she's okay." And he rushes off in the direction of the guardhouse.
I think they need your help at the gate, not there.
You can roll me a deception check.
Would that be deception or charm to convince him to
No,
go
that
there?
would be a deception check, you lying
Alright.
bastards. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's
You're
the
like, you're the guys who put yourself on the wrong side of the law. That's not me. That's a 1, 2, and a 3. He ignores you entirely and keeps running towards the guards' barracks. So they are going to be told that a troll is taking someone to the alchemist, but it's a little ways away, so you might have a little bit of time. So you head on in towards the alchemist, and when you get there, like, front garden is overgrown, covered in weeds and different plants and stuff like that. And as the door opens, as you sort of like you knock on the door just swings open, and inside it's dark. It smells really strongly of stuff, a mixture of sort of herbs and spices and other odd things. And you, yeah?
Oh no.
Before she opens the door, do they have flintlock pistols in this world?
No. No.
Okay,
No
well,
flintlock
I'm going to put my hand in my pocket and make it look like I have a wand pointed at her. And I'm going to be like, get down to the basement right now. Right now.
Oh my
Down
god.
to the basement.
What the fuck is happening? I will remind you that she is literally a senile old woman who has desperately asked for your assistance. And you stated in last episode that you actually helped her. You said that you actually were taking care of some of like the flunks and stuff. So roll me any kind of skill that you have with charisma and threatening someone. That this is not social charm. This is the opposite of social charm.
I know she's senile, so just in case she forgets that I'm her friend, I wanted to. It's like 51st dates. I gotta keep explaining to her who I am. It gets kind of annoying after the first time. But it's like that moment out of it's a 1 and a 2, so I fail. So it's that moment out of Field of Dreams when Kevin Costner goes up to James Earl Jones and he's like, "Give me all your money," and he's like, That's not a gun. That's your finger in your pocket. And he's like, "Yeah, what are you? Yeah, it's my gun." And he's like, "Yeah, really? Take your hand out of your pocket."
So you get to the door and you come in, like, sort of like, you know that generally it's a place where you let yourself in. So you just walk in and immediately there's an old lady sat there who currently has what looks to be a small pestle and mortar and is grinding something up. She's not very with it. So you come in and you watch as Dax walks in, puts his hand in his pocket, comes in and is just like, "Do as I say, get on the ground!" And she looks out to you and says, "What?" And says, "Get on the ground!" And she just, "Charles, is that you? Charles?
Yes, my dear. This is Charles.
Charles, bring me that clutch of mandrake over there."
Yes, dear, but we have some dire.
Charles, stop talking and bring me the mandrake.
Yes, my dear, but there's
This
a
lady
dying
needs
woman.
help.
Charles, who's this strapping young fellow you've brought into my house?
This is Bob.
"Hello, Bob," she says, sort of like straightening, like adjusting her, I imagine she's got like a cap on, she sort of adjusts it slightly and begins twirling one very ratty grey strand of hair in her finger and, "Hey,
This
Charles,
lady
fetch
needs
us some
help.
drinks. Bob, Would you take a seat? Make yourself comfortable. You
This
new
lady
in town,
needs your
are you?
help. This
Yes,
lady
she
needs your help.
does. Oh, roleplay, I like it. This lady needs some help. Bob, would you be of some assistance to me?
Dax is gonna set her down on the table in front of her. I'm sorry, Wart.
Oh,
sets,
this
Landon
lady!
down on her.
I thought this was pork or something you brought me. This is a person. Charles, where's my mandrake?
Coming right up, dear. Why am I suddenly her husband? I was trying to be
That
macho
was
and I
such
ended
an
up
amazing. It was a 1 and a 2. It was a 1 and a 2 on your intimidation. Like there was no intimidation there.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
She goes
gosh,
over.
your voice hurt me.
She lifts up Elena's hand and licks it for a moment. Oh, cool. Oh, that's she's in a bad way, isn't she? Charles,
Yes, she is.
could you hurry up?
She was burned by a dragon's breath.
Oh, I've had that happen to me before. It's a nasty way to go. Let's see what I can do for her. And Dax, do you bring her mandrake?
Yes.
Yeah. She looks at you as you hand it over to her, and she doesn't take it. She's just like, well, don't just stand there. Make me some tea. And she just points over to the kettle.
Yes. Dear, I go over and I start mixing the tea.
As you start to walk away, you get a slap on the rump. As a thank you from this old
I
lady.
feel violated.
You walked into a house and tried to you were like, get in the basement, and no. Get in the kitchen and make me some tea, you bitch. Goes back to
What a reversal.
Right.
outstanding move. So she begins to grind up some poultice, and she spits into whatever it is she's grinding up, and begins to sort of work it between her fingers into some kind of almost like tar-like balm, and she pushes it over to you and says, Bob, be a dear and start massaging this into her skin. And I need something. And she starts rummaging around through some vials and jars.
So do you mix anything with? Oh, okay, there it is. Do you mix anything with the mandrake, or do you just use the mandrake root?
What do you mean?
Oh, for the poultice.
Oh no, the mandrake's for tea. I'm gasping.
Oh.
Charles has been out all day, probably talking to that harlot down at the tavern. And she goes back to mixing stuff.
What did you use for this poultice?
Oh, some spit, a little bit of ground, I believe there's some, a little bit of, and a touch of, and just a sprigand or two, but not too much. She goes back to sort of going through jars and stuff.
Yeah, Wart's not feeling confident about this.
And do you want to try and apply this salve that she's made?
I suppose, yes.
Roll me a medicine check again. You can add an extra dice for having some medical supplies. Although, what this is, you're not entirely sure.
Right.
Is
that's
everything
successful.
going all right out there? Dax calls from the kitchen.
It's absolutely fine, honey bun. I'm just... She leans over, sort of looks at you, Bob, and is like, just wonderful out here. She makes uncomfortable, eye contact with you as she begins also helping, massage the
to.
balm into Elena's skin.
She tries to make eye contact.
She's staring, like, you feel her eyes like burning into you as you're like, Elena, you begin to sort of like come round from the shock of this, and you feel like pain just all over, but oddly your arms feel numb as you wake up on a table staring up at like what looks like a bush growing out of the ceiling, and takes you a few moments to realize there's like herbs and stuff that are hanging above the table, and you feel like a very bony pair of like set of fingers rubbing into your skin, something that instantly like it sears for a second and then it seems to go numb, and she begins sort of working her way up to your neck, and on the other side like Wart is rubbing this stuff into you, and it starts to take the edge off of there. You are a shit show of health, but you are conscious. You currently are pretty much unable to do any rolls or anything like that. You can't move on your own. You are an inch from death, but you are conscious enough that you can talk. And you see Wart sort of looking at you. Wart looks very concerned for you. Like, it must be for you. There's nothing else that... But, you know, it's... You're not also no idea where you are, by the way.
So the guy I was gonna kill, there was a firebomb, and it exploded because I set it on fire?
You tried to kill somebody, did you?
There
Oh,
was
no.
a altercation, and
Oh,
the dragon
yeah.
fire. The dragon breathed fire on you, Elena.
The dragon that magically was in the place and
Yeah.
tried to eat Dax. Did Dax get eaten?
No,
Who's
no.
Dax?
is making tea. Your husband. We call him Dax.
She stands up and she's like, Charles, do you have someone called Dax in there with you? And she comes in to like fuss over you in the kitchen. Like, have you brought other guests over?
Yes, Dax is your new pool boy. Yes. You've always said how you wanted a new pool boy when you're over by the wash tub, so I got you one. Yay.
Is he going to help bathe me? Is he? Wonderful. And she begins to like she takes off like her jacket and stuff, and she starts heading over to a basin in the corner of the room, which looks like slightly too like it's basically like a large indoor wooden bucket. And she's just like, "Run me a bath, Dax, whoever you are." And she climbs in like completely stripping down naked into this bath. There's no water in there at the moment, and she just sits there and begins to oh, this is lovely. She's not in water, but she seems to be under the impression that she's in a bath right now.
Oh dear.
Oh, Dax.
The three of you have a modicum of privacy. She's on the other side of the room, but she's in her own little world for the moment. So you've got a little bit of privacy. What do you guys do?
I take this moment to go over to the her wares, and I start fitzing through it. I'm learned,
Okay.
but I don't know how to properly apply it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing a bunch of herbs and solutions, and I'm going to put them in front of Wart. And I say, "You look like you know a thing or two about medicine. Fix
Yes,
that.
I studied.
I'm going to go give the old lady a bath."
Okay.
I mean,
And
if the
for-
guards come, if the guards come, we need her on our side.
I'm not sure she'll recognize the guards if they came. But Wart goes about finding medical supplies. Finding the ones that
You
will...
garner that actually she has a surprising amount of healing poultices and and salves, the sort of things that could probably make it more easy for Elena to move. So far as you'd need actual magic to heal her wounds, like, properly,
Right.
but, like, you can get her up and moving. You could basically, like, numb the pain, stop, like, sores from opening and her bleeding everywhere. That's about all you're going to be able to do without magical
Right.
healing.
But
So-
basically apply aloe vera and other anti-burn
Yeah.
moisturizing
Yeah.
ointments, and then wrap them in bandages.
That's pretty much what you're going to need to do. So you can give me one more medicine, again, with an additional dice for having a proper collection of medicines around. It's a little bit easier this time now. It's not just random junk that's been given to you. Okay, Elena, you are now able to move around. At the moment, given your debilitated state, I'm going to say that you are only going to be able to use... You won't be able to use any skills. You can just use your core abilities. So strength, dex, bod, that kind of thing. Until you're a little bit more fixed up, you probably need to rest. But you guys, you're going to spend some time, Rafe, like wrapping wounds and stuff like that. In the
Right.
meantime, Dax, she hands you a stick, which has on the end a taxidermied hedgehog, which is attached to it, which she hands to you and claims is a loofah, and asks you to scrub her down, Dax. She refers to you as Dax this time, as you are her pool boy.
Oh, of course, Miss Beaker. I would be so honored to
You
scrub.
sound hunky.
Oh, I do. It's from all that reading that I do and whatnot.
Oh, wonderful. You should read to me while you scrub me down.
Hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The end.
Interesting choice of poem. You know, if you wanted a fiddle, we'd have to ask the guests to leave.
Oh, my dear Mrs. Beaker, you take me for someone I am not. I like the more masculine sex.
Ah. I see. Well, Charles?
Yes,
Charles?
honey bun.
I like this one. We'll keep him.
Uh,
Have him
Okay.
stay in the servants' quarters, she said. This is like one room. That's her entire house. But she's like, have him set up in the servants' quarters.
Okay. Yes, honey bun. Come on, Dex. Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Charles. You have quite the nice rump on you. Then
And
Dax will
You can dismiss yourself from this engagement, and she will just hum to herself out of tune, pretending like, again, there's no water in this bath, so she's just like, she's making like splashing sounds. She's like splash. It's incredibly gross. But afterwards, she'll stand up, towel herself off, and go and lay down, exhausted from her ordeal, and seems to fall off into a fitful sleep.
I run it back down. All right. Have we made any progress on healing Elena?
As best as I can without restoration magic.
She looks
Okay.
semi-mummified right now because of like needing to apply bandages and stuff.
Mhm.
All right, let's get out of here. I know it's kind of dangerous leaving that woman unattended in the bath, but she seems capable.
What if she slips below the imaginary waterline? Oh no.
I think it's dangerous to leave her unattended, period. But it seems she is. Normally, so yeah, if you're feeling up to it, Elena, we can move on.
I don't know how good I'm gonna be, but let's go.
Honey bun, I'm gonna go hit on the owner of the inn. I find her more attractive than you, and it seems like you have your hands full with Dax. So I'm leaving you.
We need milk, dear.
Okay, I'll be sure not to bring any.
She doesn't have anything else to contribute.
This has been so horrible.
You need milk. Like, add that to your like questing objectives. You now need to get milk from the alchemist.
Looks over on quest log. Get milk. Ah, fuck.
Guys, we can't skip town. I have groceries to buy. So yeah,
All right.
that's a situation.
Right. So,
Are you guys gonna try and sneak out of here?
I think it's wise if we get out of town.
It's up to you.
We gotta go help that guy. He's losing his mind in the mansion.
You're not in much shape to move around. We are wanted by the guards.
We came here to save the town. I'll find a hole to hide in. I'm a rogue.
Summoned a leprechaun that could burn the tavern down. A dragon, and set fire to the guardhouse. Attacked a witch hunter. Attacked a noble in his own house. Stole from a
Attack
noble.
the guard captain.
Attacked a guard captain. Threatened to murder at least 4 people. It's going well. Saviors of the town.
I think it's wise if we get out of town until things calm down at the very least.
Okay.
Dax,
Yes, we must get out of town.
Okay. Let's go then.
Are you gonna try and sneak out?
I'm not gonna sneak anywhere. I
In all fairness, you don't look like yourself at the moment. You're wrapped in bandages and sort of like medical gauze and stuff. So you don't look like you at the moment. So, yeah. You guys, if you want to try and sneak, you can try and roll a dex of some kind. But I'd say Lena is, at the moment, fully disguised.
right?
a human mummy. I love it.
So, yeah.
That is a 2 for war.
Not-
Fantastic. And Dax, are you just brazenly marching out, or
No, I'm gonna roll my 1 dex. Ugh.
Right.
that's a 5.
Again.
Okay, you guys beat the guards who rolled double 1s, snake eyes, and absolutely screwed it. However, as you come out with that poor roll, there is a man walking down the path towards the house, and you see that he is sort of like wearing a flat cap and a tweed sort of jacket, and he looks like he's looking back over his shoulder, looking worried towards what you can see as smoke rising over a few rooftops, and in his hand he's clutching a large bottle of milk in his hand, and he turns to look at you all and I apologize. My wife isn't in any spirits to be speaking to anyone. You'll have to come back another time.
No, she has already helped my friend. We'll be on our way.
Oh.
Thank you.
He looks at Elena and just like, oh my goodness, you must have. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad she was able to help. I really can't stay and talk, I'm afraid. I need to see if she's okay. We're out of milk. And he rushes past you guys and will head inside unless anyone stops him.
No.
No.
Moving on.
Oh, wait. You're getting milk. Yes.
Yes. He holds up the bottle of
Quest
milk.
fulfilled.
Go take that to Mrs. Beaker Street at the Alchemist. Tell her that Charles
No, that's-
sent.
Hold on.
Her-
This is my house. My name is Charles.
You're Charles. Your wife
Do I know you?
is amazing, sir. But I feel
you.
like
She's-
she is in desperate need of your attention after my assistance. Good day. And he just starts walking like, oh God, oh God.
You hear the door open and you hear, "Honey, I'm home." And no, I've just got back. I don't. She's just a tavern owner. I don't. It's not like that. And you hear like a huge argument break out as you blatantly were just like, "I'm leaving you for the tavern owners." What? So you hear him getting it in the neck for everything you've just said. Who's Dax? You don't have a pool.
Get out. Let's get out of town. Get out of town. Get out of town.
Yeah.
So where are
Yep.
you guys heading?
Presumably towards the nearest woods.
Okay, you guys are not too far from the woods. She's on the outskirts of town. You can just try and slip away into the woods if you want, as you leave the smoke curling from the guardhouse sort of behind you. You see up on the hill the manor house, and you sort of like sneak away. And I'm gonna say, like, what's the plan? Are you guys trying to head off? Are you heading towards the capital? Are you heading towards a nearby town, or are you simply just looking for somewhere to lay low? Because you could probably camp out in the woods without too much trouble.
Just to lay low and heal up and recover, and
Yeah.
just before we go back and help the
Cause
town
more
again.
I'm
Go
not
back
sure
and
the town can
help.
handle any more help from you guys. I really don't know if they're equipped to deal with your brand of help. So you
No.
you
No, they're not.
make your way into the forest, and I'll allow you guys to make camp without any trouble whatsoever in the woods. As you hear like bells ringing from town, you guys can take a full day's rest to recover. Elena, you're still gonna have a wound, but like this is something that genuinely will take months to heal without magic. So like you're a little banged up, but other than that, like with changing your bandages and a little bit of extra salve, Dax, in the meantime, you hear sort of commotion and everything going on from town. You will note that once or twice they send guards out into the woods, but they don't come out as far as you guys. You've made you beat feet a fair while to get out of their sort of perimeter. So you guys are okay for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, this may not be changelings. This might be a chaos thing, a creature of chaos and bad luck that we have unleashed, or we have,
I'd say
have
it's
been
named
unleashed.
Dax.
Look, okay. Look, listen. Just because everything didn't go
Hold on.
according to
You're a
plan.
maid, right? Do you have any like connections to your higher power people to give me actual healing so we can go back and help?
I am on academic probation from the order. That is what I were.
So you summoned a dragon who charred me, and you don't even have connections with your friends. This is terrible.
Look, I came to show the order that I could handle this kind of stuff, so they would stop putting me in the menagerie, where I met all of these creatures that I summon.
Oh. It's okay, I got kicked out of the Thieves Guild too. I thought I was stealing. I was just collecting.
I guess there truly is no honor among thieves.
No. Especially when we get bored and everybody else's skills seem to be not on par with ours. It's more like trying to play cat and mouse. You steal it, you hide it, they're supposed to go find it. They just don't go find it very well.
Oh,
What's your
So-
Nope. Boss is back.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So how's it going?
Well, Dax is on probation. Elena is a stealer, and we were just getting to Wart's story about what his damage is.
Go ahead.
eye damage? I'm blind.
Oh, but you're
I-
very good at
Awkward,
being blind.
awkward crickets. Like
Yeah. Come on.
blind.
You're
really
really
not
good
noticed?
at being blind.
Oh, I mean, you learn to be perceptive even without your eyes when you no longer have use of them.
Well, you're very good with them, even if you don't have them. Anyone that says that you're blind and you don't have eyes is wrong.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, you guys are camped up outside town. Now, just a reminder, because I know it's been 2 weeks since last episode, you guys know a few bits. Now you've got a time to collect your thoughts. You know that the Dax, you were actually given a letter to hand to the guard captain by the lady of the house. Which asked the guard captain to discreetly investigate his daughter's whereabouts, the owner of the lord of the house. You were also told there was something to do with the mines. The owner of the mines had been causing some trouble and hadn't been cooperating with people. I believe his name was, let me just see. I think it was Mr. McCrae, I believe. So you've got a couple of angles. Also, this is an absolute fustercluck. You have achieved so much destruction. So it's up to you guys what you want to do at this point.
We gotta get to the mines, or at least get to the person who oversees the mines.
I would say that we should avoid people at all costs because we tend to ruin their lives. I feel like we are cursed.
Well,
Right.
maybe we're just doing penance or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'm inclined to agree with Dax on this.
Okay. So do we just go break into the mines and see what's scaring everybody, and well, you two kill it, and I'll tell you what direction it's coming?
We can
Yes.
try that.
Okay. Do we know where the mines are?
Yes, you do. In fact, the mines are not strictly part of town. They're closer to the river, which is not too far from you. You wouldn't have to go back into town. Stand corrected, the master of the mines is a man called Mr. Bavelian. And you were told by the lady of the house that she has reached out to him several times. He was very uncooperative and has explained that the witch hunter was originally summoned to deal with something in the mines that had caused them to be shut down. And the owner of the mines has said until someone does something about it, he's not going to do anything. He's closed it. No one's going to be able to work. There'll be no ore coming up, which is a huge problem for the town.
Okay, well, we probably could go to the mines, so let's pack our camp and see what we can see. Maybe we will not destruct the mine, because it would be not good for the town, and we've sort of really, really screwed up this poor little town.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
the primary
I think,
source of employment and income for most of the people in this town that you have lit aflame.
yeah,
Yep.
and honestly, with the mine not working, I don't think we could do any worse than what we've already done.
Okay, well, let's get ourselves going. Don't summon anything that's going to kill us, Dax.
Look, I only have a few creatures that I've made pact with in the menagerie. I promise I won't summon the adamantoine turtle.
The goblin seems to be our safest bet most days. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so you guys as a party will head over towards the mines. It's a small little place. It has like a wooden picket kind of fence that runs around the edge of it with simple looking palisades, and there is sort of like sharpened wooden stakes leaning out. You would wager it's not defensive from yourself. It looks more like you'd have to deal with wildlife out here, maybe wolves and that sort of thing. It's not high enough like you could climb over it. It's probably just to keep things at bay. And there's a simple gate which is probably about 5 foot high. But if you go over, there's a simple slide lock, and you can unlock it from this side and push it open. Inside, there's one watchtower, which is just a wooden watchtower with a ladder that leads up to the top, and a small hut next to the mine entrance, which is set into the side of a stone, a sort of a slight rise in the hill. And when you arrive, there doesn't appear to be anyone out and about. Place looks quiet. There are a few torches lit around. It's probably sort of like early-ish in the morning. And I would say like you've spent a full day resting up. So like it was the day before yesterday you guys painted the town with fire. So
Oh, poor
And broke
town.
up a marriage.
so yeah, you look around and there's no one out and about. Looks sort of abandoned.
All right. Well, we go in somehow.
So, who wants to open it this time? Because, though Brody's made out of magical essence, he did jump into a volcano. I don't think I can summon them again for at least another day.
Okay.
Yeah, I will see what I can do. Ward will go up and see if it opens. There's
Yeah, you go up. It opens without any complaint. It literally looks like it's to keep animals out. But you slide the bolt and open up, and you come into a clearing, maybe 100 feet across, with a small thatch hut sat in the squat in the center, and then one watchtower which is unmanned. There are torches lit outside the hut and one torch lit up in the watchtower, but the mine itself has a big closed door over it, and doesn't appear to have any light lit in it. There's a few tools lying around in piles or on racks, but there are no people around.
Hello? Anyone here? Mort
Beer.
starts walking in.
I'm Wart.
Short amount of time passes, and then you hear a rattle from the door of the hut, and the door opens, and a very short man steps out with quite a large stomach and a waistcoat that's like the buttons are straining to hold it onto his around his gut. And he steps out. He looks like he has very short hair. He smells like sweat, and you hear him sort of like huffing and making sort of like pissed off, nonsensical mutterings to himself. And then hear a sharp intake of breath, Wart, probably sensing the fact that he's seen you and is slightly surprised, and makes his way over towards you with heavy footfalls. Who are you?
I am Wart. I understand
You're a
that there's...
troll.
Yes.
Hmm.
I understand
You are
that there
very
is a
observant.
problem. Don't mind
Yes,
her.
I
She's
have something of problems of late. What are you all doing here? This is private property.
Well, we were wanting to look into it for you.
Look into what
Since no one-
exactly?
The problem, since no one else seems to care.
I have a stamp from the mansion, and they said that this is where we need to be and to show it. This is the stamp that the
Sorry about
guy
that.
uses on his mouth.
He holds a hand out and looks in. Who gave you this?
I told you who gave me it.
Did the Lord of the Manor give you this?
His footman did.
Yeah.
His footman.
The
Well, we
Lord
talk-
is unwell. Yeah.
We were talking to his wife, and she authorized the footman to give it to us.
I see.
Now give
And
it back.
you're. Excuse me?
Please give it back.
She's not the most trusting of types.
You also look in a bad ways.
Yes.
Again, you're so
That's-
observant. He's a troll. I'm a burnt human, and Dax did it, but it's okay.
Look,
Dax
I'm-
did not
I'm-
have anything to do with this. Dax is Dax doesn't exist. My name is Dale.
Right, I'm not particularly interested in the details. Are you here to investigate the mine? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Yes. What is this in this mine that is causing a ruckus?
I don't know. Well, there was a commotion and whatever it was, I believe it might be where the dragon is holed up.
Another
I'm sorry.
dragon.
The dragon?
I'm sorry. A dragon?
Yes. Well, there was a dragon that attacked the town. You must have heard about it. I presume that's where you got injured from, but I think it's made its nest in the mines.
Okay, we will go investigate that. Point us in the
Yeah.
direction.
Cautiously.
We'll go investigate.
Good. Very well. I'll unlock the mines for you. And he
Thank you.
walks his way over to the mine doors and goes over, unlocks it, takes a huge bar off it with some effort, opens it up and says, "Well, good luck. Careful down there. And try not to damage anything."
Chin chin.
Can I have my stamp back now?
I'll hold on to it until you get out.
I don't trust you. Can I have my stamp back, please?
I don't care. It's
I
an
felt
official
better?
seal of the town.
Just let him have it. We have a dragon to deal with.
I'm fine.
Hmm.
Alright.
Do you guys head in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, as you head down a mine shaft, which is descends into the ground, lit only so far, like by the lights coming down from the daylight outside. It's very hard to make out what that sort of the direction you're going. There are no lit lanterns or torches down here, and
Flint
hear
and
us-
their lighted torch.
you light a torch, and you light it just in time to hear a loud bang from behind you as he closes the door and begins to lock it and bar it behind you guys.
I told you I should have got to keep my stamp.
We've either been trapped or he is being cautious in case we don't make it back.
Since you're so familiar with dragons, Dax, you lead the way. Here's a torch.
Yes, but this can't be Drake.
Oh, I don't care. Go make friends with him. Here's your torch. We'll follow.
Dax takes the torch and then drops it. No, you're not understanding. I sent
it up.
Drake back to the menagerie.
Great.
There's
You
no
have it.
way.
Then you
that
can
it's
summon him
Drake.
back here. We will have another dragon. And maybe I'll give him peace of my mind about burning innocent humans.
Well,
Here,
Whatever
you
it
hold
is.
the torch. I need both hands to cast spells.
whatever it
let's
is,
go.
though,
You still lead the way.
yes, whatever it is, you are the most knowledgeable of us about it.
Mr. I'm on probation.
Time to prove it to them.
Here you go.
All right. Very well. And Dax takes lead.
Okay, you take your lead, start heading your way down, and quickly find that you get to the bottom of the shaft, and it splits out into a large sort of like cave with several offshoots running, small tunnels where they have been digging under certain parts, chasing sort of like veins of ore and iron, and you see that this place looks like you see like lamps and stuff like that, and seats and furniture that has been left down here, but nothing in the way of no living creatures, no destruction. It just looks closed.
I'm not.
I continue on further.
Okay, you have a choice of different tunnels that lead off in different directions. Are you just going to methodically search them one by one?
Do
Dax
I?
is going.
Yeah.
Go
Go ahead.
for it. No, you go
I
for
was
it.
gonna say, do I sense or hear anything from one over the other?
You can roll me an awareness, see if you sense anything with your heightened sense of smell and sound. And hearing.
Awareness or perception?
Perception, yeah.
All right. That's a 5 and a 4.
Oh, passes. Good job.
You overhear something coming from the entrance, back the way you came. Sounds like commotion.
I hear something back at the entrance.
I'd say you've probably been down here maybe 10 minutes or so, started to investigate. Dax is sort of methodically going down. Elena, what about you? What are you doing?
I'm kind of just hanging out in the big area and not trying to go down too much and do too much searching. If there's going to be a
Okay.
fight, I might as well only go one cave.
Yeah.
You keep an eye out. You can also roll me a perception check, see if you hear any trouble coming from any of
Okay.
the tunnels.
All right, let me see. What's my perception? I don't even know. Perception. 1.
You hear sounds in every direction that sound like they could be trouble, and you keep flinching and turning like you had a bad run-in with a dragon before. So like now, like everything you like think you see stuff moving in the darkness. Occasionally, like pick up a stone and hurl it down, but nothing like recoils or moves or flinches or comes out to greet you. You're just there, like ready for all of this. It's a tense moment.
Wart's going to backtrack back to the entrance and try to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you get closer to the entranceway. You can give me another perception check. In the meantime, Dax, you start down the first tunnel, reach the end, you find it opens up into a place where mining was clearly taking place. You see a face of ore which is exposed, and you see that pickaxes have been abandoned and stuff like that. You see, as you get to the second one, you see a small like area where people were sat around. There was a fireplace that has gone completely cold, and like it's just charred stone and charcoal, and you look around, you see nothing again. It looks genuinely like the mine was just shut. You see no signs of scratch marks, no paw prints, no claw prints. You don't sense any supernatural sort of things. You get back, as you're heading down the third one, what you hear, what sounds like people approaching from outside as you rolled. Was that 3 6s? 666.
3 6 and 1. Yes.
Okay. You hear a commotion as people are approaching, and you hear armor.
Of course.
Oh boy.
It is steadfastly shut the entranceway. The only you would be able to feel a slight breeze on your face. The door is shut, but like there's like you could reach out and feel that there's like a waffle-shaped grid that goes over a small, maybe 1 foot by 1 foot cutout in the door, so you can sort of like hear out very well, and you can sort of like smell sort of like the fresh pine air, but you can definitely hear what sounds like possibly armed men approaching from outside.
Do I recognize any of the voices?
You on 3 6s in a row, you're lucky you even heard them coming. They're not that close yet. You've got company coming quickly.
Okay. Then Wart's gonna head back down to the main chamber. Catch up with the other two. We got problems.
Well, Elena, what do we have now?
Sounds like possibly guardsmen are here.
More? We were trapped by that guy.
While this is going on, Dax, give me just a straight wisdom check, as this is not your forte, but I want to see if you can make
Can I
some
use
assessment.
perception?
All right, fine. I'll allow perception, I suppose.
Okay, so 1 success.
You find no trace of any reason this mine should be closed. Like, no infestation, no signs of like things burrowing in and out, no sense of supernatural, nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, that's good for me. Well, time to go back. Ha 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 ha. And he's going to turn around and he starts walking back.
There's a troll! A troll in the mine shaft! Thought you all should know. That doesn't actually get shouted. It's just, yeah, Wart informs everyone that, yeah, it sounds like there are men coming. So, what's the plan here?
Well, we're gonna have to hide, guys.
Where?
Even, I don't know, we're gonna have to find somewhere to hide, unless that guy tipped off the guards, and then I don't really feel like burning down the mine.
You would struggle. It's mostly
Yeah.
rock and stone and everything like that.
I'd have to put wood beams up that holds it up.
Yeah, no, that's
And-
true. But you would also most likely cave yourself in.
Exactly. Which is why I'm not gonna burn the mine down.
So, yeah, you...
Hello to our captors again? Dax, you've been in these tough situations before. And you like to talk to people. Maybe you talk to them.
Okay, I will.
Here, have a dagger.
I have no need for such
trivial
weaponry. I have my mind dagger.
Well,
Okay.
your mind dagger has cooked me and sent a troll into a volcano. So
Look, you're the one who wanted to attack Cross. I was
I was
willing
talking
to
to
live
him.
and let live. You jumped on him. You put your dagger. Now, what have we learned about using daggers? Daggers lead to crisp.
It was your dragon. You should have had control over said dragon.
So, Dax, you're going up to talk to them. Is that
Yes.
what I'm understanding here? Wart and Elena, are you going up with him or are you hiding? And just in case.
I'm gonna hide.
Alana's
up to
gonna
you.
hide. Wart has done horribly at hiding so far, so he's.
You do
going
have
to
like an
join.
entire like mine network to. It's not huge. It doesn't run for miles or anything like that. But you've got some tunnels and everything to hide.
To get lost
Well,
in.
I've
You mean?
stealth.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. Stealth and Constitution if I have to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Um,
go up to them.
Yeah.
While
Wart's
Wart
gonna
and
join
Elena
Dax
like.
anyway.
Okay, Wart's gonna join Dax.
Yeah.
You guys
I'll
make
let-
your way up, whilst Elena goes and gets herself in cover. Dax, you walk up and approach. When you get to the top, you look out and you see what looks to be a 3 guards standing outside, or 3 figures standing outside. One is Mr. Pavilion, the owner of the mine. The second is a town guard, and the third is a very is a bandaged, injured-looking guard captain, the dwarf, who most of his beard is burnt away. You notice like he's like tried to trim it to match, but like he has burn marks up the side of his face, and he is standing there. His arm is bandaged in a sling. He still has like a hand on his axe, but probably not in too much of a fighting shape. But they don't seem to have spotted you as like your approach. The mine is pitch black, so at the moment you're looking out at them, but they don't know you've come to the door yet. It's up to you how you proceed.
Hello there, Mr. Guards people.
There's a
I am the
pause.
mine.
There's another pause. The men sort of look around. Roll me a perception check, as you have a heightened sense of hearing.
Oh, only one success.
You catch something. You hear something for a moment, but it's stifled out by Dax calling, and then the guard captain approaches. And whoever you are in there,
Oh, please call me Bal. It's short for Balrog.
we're here with a warrant to arrest some fugitives who are on the run. We've been informed that they're hiding out in these mines and that they're responsible for some recent attacks and atrocities on the city.
Nope, there's no one here except for those who dug too deep. The short, stocky ones with the beards.
Roll me a deception check.
Here we go.
Roll me a straight bullshit.
I got a success.
Wow.
He fails.
It's a 3 and a 1 for him. He
4 and a 3. What do you
Sized.
mean 3 and a 1?
No, he got a 3.
Oh,
You got a 4 and a
okay.
3. He got a 3 and a 1 to check.
Okay,
Hey.
that was.
He pauses for a moment. Listen. The fugitives in there. We're going to arrest them. You can stand in our way, or you can come out and cooperate, and perhaps we'll be lenient.
Please, sir, I'd like you not to intrude in my home as more than you've already had.
Listen.
If you happen to go to the mayor and procure
The
a
crimes
warrant,
that these fugitives are accused of include 3 counts of manslaughter, 1 count of murder, and we will be coming in there.
wait, that was it? That was the entire list? Just that? You're going to
That's
arrest
as
him
well as
for that?
arson, criminal damages, threatening several individuals, including premeditated murder against one Mr. Cross, who is an official member of the Witch Hunters Society. If you
That
are
sounds-
innocent, you have nothing to fear from the law. If you cooperate, you might get a lenient sentence. But if you resist us, the penalty will be death.
Come back with a warrant.
He holds up a piece of paper. He's standing next to the owner of the mine. He absolutely has a warrant.
Dax creates an illusion of like a giant, monstrous Balrog hand coming out of the door to pick up the warrant. Hold on, let me take a look at this. And he holds the warrant up.
He has a warrant.
Oh well, if that's the case, then sure.
Listen,
Come on in.
listen to me. If you come peacefully, or you can convince the others to come peacefully, we'll show you lenience. But if not, there's only one way out of the mine. You don't have food, you don't have supplies. You're surrounded.
I don't know about that. That Dax fellow seems pretty handy with a spell. Seems like one of those order fellows. Maybe we shouldn't make him angry. You don't know what he has in his arsenal.
You have
Oh,
2 minutes.
all right. 2 minutes is all I need.
And he calls out, "Guards!" And from the other side of the palisades, somewhere in the region of 10 guards stand. They are armed with crossbows, and they are aiming them at the mine entrance.
Oh man.
You have done so much damage. They brought everyone.
Fuck it. Let's go call some more. I'm gonna summon. Oh man, I don't even know what I'm gonna summon.
What do you have left?
Chat, tell me something to summon.
no.
Chat,
You could
I'm giving it
collapse
up to the
the
Lords of Chaos. With
You could
us
collapse
in
the
it?
No, I didn't say with us in it, but if I start setting the arches on fire in the back, and then just make my way around, by the time they get up here, we get out. Because we burn them. Somehow. Haven't thought that part out yet, but we'll figure it out. Dragon. Dragon has fire breath. We burn them. Except this time, don't burn me.
You can try and summon him whether or not he's in a
Basilisk.
good mood. Basilisk.
I'm gonna summon a full-grown basilisk. I am going to push myself to the limit. I will write the runes. I will draw I am going to summon a basilisk because I know that their stare can turn people to stone. And we have one in the menagerie. His name is Rumpelstiltskin.
I hate you. I hate you. I will allow it. Rolled. Because we're coming to the end of this, so this is going to end one way or another.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
go start lighting on fire back
7
there.
dice!
Hurry it up.
A 6, a 4, a 4, a 3, a 1, and a 1. That's another
Okay.
50-50 split. How do I...
No?
No? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's on... yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
it's odd number.
So
You're-
that's 3 4s and a 6. Okay. You begin to summon a basilisk. Elena, you know very little other than what happens when he comes down. What? Do you follow him down? Or are you, like, what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm following Dax.
Okay. You're all in this together, yeah?
I'm getting
Yeah.
a rope and I'm tying myself to Dax, so if I get cooked, Dax gets cooked.
Dax, like, while you're performing runes and carving them into the floor, you've got a huge space in this main chamber. She begins to tie herself to you. What? And you still have a manacle on each hand. You begin to tie yourself up, and it begins to summon this basilisk that starts to come into fruition. Rumpelstiltskin begins to sliver its way almost out of the ground. You see like the stone crack as if something is moving underneath it and rolls itself out. And this huge serpentine creature that begins to swell and take up all the space in this room. And finally, its head comes round. I'm going to say like your 2 minutes are well and truly up. Like you hear commotion. They are getting ready to storm you. It comes and pulls one huge snout towards you, Dax. Have you explained anything to the other two?
While it's summoning, I say, all right, everyone except for Wart and myself, close their eyes.
Okay.
Wart,
As-
you're
So
blind,
Elena-
so
Elena's tied to Dax, so he's not letting him go. She's gonna
You
close her
hear
eyes.
and you feel something very delicate touch the tip of your nose, Dax. Almost like you are poked with a single blade of grass for a second, and you sense something, some kind of breath. Not as hot as you might expect. You just feel the breath over you. It smells like rot and decay. And finally, you hear it speak.
You summoned me.
Yes.
You impetulant child.
look. Remember when I said that I was going to break out all the creatures of the menagerie out of the tyranny of the order? Okay, you're the first one. You can have this mine, but you gotta stop the guards.
Roll me a charm.
Yay, social charm.
You've been wanting that all game.
Boo, social charm.
That is a 5 and a 6, and nothing else good. Okay. It pulls closer, and you feel like something millimeters from your head, but not actually quite touching. And you feel something move over towards you. Elena, something draws up close, and
Her eyes are closed.
imagine like pull your bandage down slightly to cover your eyes, so you're actually like blindfolded, like what?
Mhm.
You.
Moves its head away from you, looks to Wart for a moment, and
This one tastes different. Tastes foreign. What a snack he'd make. Why should I serve you in any capacity, Dax? After all you have caused, all the trouble you have caused.
Because I know how much you love to collect figurines, and there is an entire town outside this mine waiting to be added to your collection.
Well, a symbolic gesture then. I'll let 2 of you leave, but one of you now belongs to my collection. A deal is a deal, Dax. They're coming.
and you hear heavy footfalls coming down the mine shaft as the guards are approaching. Here's your deal, Dax. One of
I
you
would take it.
must stare.
I'm the one
Very
who's
well.
wounded.
No. Wart will be added to your collection. That is if you can turn him to stone.
Roll me a deception check. One final. Let's see. Can you trick Rumpelstiltskin?
3 and a 4.
Basilisk is going to see if it can see through your bullshittery.
Oh,
That is a 6 and a 1. What? You feel its tongue flick against you for a moment.
You. You try to trick me, Dax. I see. I see how little he sees. Very well. If you want my assistance for your friends, as you have tried to trick me, I offer you one final bargain. You will join my collection yourself, or your friends here will perish along with the gods. And it coils back into sort of like giving you a little bit of space. You have mere moments to decide. You hear sort of like the guards are slowly approaching, shields up, but it's a fair old mine shaft that they're coming down, and they're not rushing down to get ambushed. You see light flickering already, or you don't see light flickering already because no one's looking. So you hear their footfalls approaching and cautious them talking formations and stuff.
Listen, Mr. Dragon. The world needs Dax. He wants to protect the creatures of the world, and if you take him away, people like him are gonna not be able to protect people like you.
He's a
So if you
basilisk.
want,
I
hates
need
dragons.
protection.
no, but there are other basilisks in the world. And what happens when the witch hunters kill them all? Then you'll be all by yourself in a menagerie.
You can roll me a charm, Elena.
Okay. Charm. If I can find the roll tool, there it is. I can roll 2. Woohoo! 6 and a 2.
I like this one. Very well. Stare upon my magnificence, little girl.
I'll be your companion, but I don't want to be turned into stone.
That is not the bargain.
You
Fine.
hear the footsteps a
I-
few
I-
moments
We
away.
don't have
We
don't have time for this.
We don't. Elena, Wart, allow me to escort you to the entrance. And then I will return, Rumpel, to join your collection.
You'd have to, at this point, to get to the entrance, you'd have 10 guards to go past. You've run out of time for that. You summoned a
No,
basilisk, you are having
he
Yeah.
he pulls them, and when we meet up with the guards, he comes in, he rips his his clothes, and he gets down on his knees. There's a basilisk in the mine. Ah!
Okay. I'm going to make a single attack for the basilisk. Let me see. Do I have basilisk? No? Okay. I'm going to make a single attack. I'm going to need a defense / any armor you have, Dax, as the basilisk is going to make us an attack against you. And we will see.
I think I got leather, which is what, 2?
Okay. Plus your dex.
Oh, plus my
Double
dex, so that's-
sixes! And a
one
4 against. Okay, it snaps out at you, and you guys see or hear it lunge out, and hear Dax make this bluff check. The guards rush down into the mine, and I'm afraid that is all we have time for this finale of the second part of what we were, and I'm going to leave it up to you, chat, to decide in your head whether or not they escaped. But we have to wrap it up here because we have another show starting shortly. So do Dax, Elena, and Wart escape from the mine with the Basilisk and 10 guards and wanted fugitives into the town that they have caused so much pain and heartache for? I don't know, chat. It's up to you. Wow, some shenanigans happened. That was that was a thing. That was an eventful thing that occurred.
We are horrible people.
Yeah, we
You
are. We're
guys are
terrible.
terrible. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna quickly run around because I know we need to make room for the next guys for the next show that is going to be starting here in just a few minutes. But let's go around, wrap up, find out how we all are, who we all are, where we can find each other. Let's start. We'll do it. We'll do it in opposite order. We'll start off with Wart. Wart, Rafe, how you doing, buddy? How was that for you? You got dragged into some shit there. Like,
He did. Yeah, Wart got dragged in, but he could have walked away at any time. Thought about it a
he
couple of
should have
times.
walked around already
He should have.
at so many moments, yeah.
Yeah, but he stuck it out. Dax helped him. He wanted to show him loyalty, and this is where it ended for him. But either way, I still enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Combat system was so different from what I was used to, but still fun. So
It's
and
a
you
it's
can
a
find
it's a
me.
much more simple kind of system that you can just
Yeah.
unless you have big boss fights, which unfortunately we didn't get round to doing at the end, but for simple stuff you can finish combat in a matter of 4 rolls just to see who wins, and you can play it out and choreograph it as a big dramatic battle, but it makes it a lot easier to get back to shenanigans and story and terrible
And
loofah
setting the
rubbing
town
old
on fire.
ladies.
Right. But yeah, anyways, you can find me. I am Wraith_ESG on Twitter. Here on Twitch, I'm Godfather Wraith_ESG, but I really don't do much besides troll Josh in chat and hang out in ERP. So
Pretty much.
have fun.
Fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Elena, you were fantastically wounded today. How's it going, Misty? And where can we find you online?
You can find me over at mcharm021 on Twitter and forevercharmed21 here on Twitch. I love this gaming system. It lets us play the backstories of these characters, finding out Elena was kicked out, Dax is on probation. It has so much opportunity to really make the character the story instead of the tearing up the town.
Yeah. What heroes you guys were. But there was no greater hero, surely, than Dax, who single-handedly was responsible for 2 buildings burning down, summoning a basilisk into the town, and the mutilation of someone who genuinely was just trying to protect the town from a drake that he summoned. So Dax, aka Gaming.exp, how was that for you?
Yeah. It was fun. It just started snowballing, and when it starts snowballing like this, you just gotta embrace the inner murder hobo. Just kill that town, go on to the next one. Hopefully nobody knows anybody from that town or knows you. That's the way you can get out of a hobo campaign, is just end the town. Become the evil that you were sworn to defeat.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to see your roles turn you into the villain.
My name is Zippy Zippo. You can find me here on Twitch at Zippy_Zippo, which I'll be streaming after this. Some more Final Fantasy XIV. Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Indeed. Well, check everyone out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries, everyone. Give them all a follow. Hopefully, I genuinely, I hope I get to play the system again in the future and delve in a little bit more in depth to the magic. The magic genuinely made this a whole thing that I was not anticipating. I want more Brody's Bodacious Brute. I want to see more chumminess between him and the summoner. I love the menagerie. I love the fact that you can just summon stuff. I feel like a lot of systems don't do conjuration very well, and it's very underrated. But in this, you can summon it. It's at the DM's discretion, what kind of relationship you have with it, and it can get out of hand very quickly, but at the same time it gives you the potential to really explore whatever you want roleplay wise. I love the quick combat system, and I love the fact that there's also a more in-depth system, which unfortunately we didn't get to showcase, but maybe next time we get a chance to run this. As for me, my name is Encounter Joshua. I am a DM here on Encounter Roleplay, and I will also be streaming probably in about 30 minutes, and I'm probably going to be playing some World of Warcraft over on Roleplayers Twitch channel. That's just www.twitch.com/roleplayers. I'm going to play some World of Warcraft and try and discover what a Death Knight is, and I imagine it will be more or less murder hobo-y than this entire campaign has been. And I'm playing a Death Knight, and it's going to be less deadly than these guys were in a murder mystery that they asked me to run an intrigue game with murder mystery and then murdered so many people. So there we have it. It was an absolute blast. You guys can check out this system that we're running here today. If you go to Kickstarter and type in What We Were, it's a great system and gives you loads of opportunities to tell any kind of crazy story you want. And it works in not just fantasy settings, but sci-fi, modern day, anything else you can dream up. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it over to the wonderful fellows here at Encounter Roleplay, who are going to probably put it into a tunnel and stream in. When you come out the other side of that tunnel, we'll have another expertly run game, which might make a little bit more sense and might run to some kind of story that you can follow. In the meantime, try not to roll too many nat ones, everybody, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Goodbye.